Road trips and rock concerts are integral parts of growing up, but what about a road trip to a rock concert to have your band open for Green Day? Here to tell us about the new comedy Nimrods, please welcome the star, Mason Thames, the director, Lee Kirk, and no big deal, Green Day themselves, Billie Joe Armstrong, Tré Cool, Mike Dirnt. Let's give it up. Let's give them a nice warm IGN welcome. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. So let's start with this. This is the first movie based on the trials and tribulations of Green Day. Why was a road trip comedy the right window into a Green Day movie?
Well, the first idea came about where I wanted to do a New Year's Eve movie about kids coming to see us play on New Year's Eve or something like that. And then the first person I called was Lee, and then Lee started chiming in, and
yeah. And we just started, throwing ideas at like, what could this movie be? All we knew was that we wanted to end with a Green Day concert at the Palladium. And so we kind of, we threw ideas around and eventually realized it would be fun if it's a road movie, kids driving across the country, making a giant judgment error. And then we went from there, and that's kind of the inception. And then I started asking these guys about fun stories from their days, and they all got kind of cooked into the story.
Yeah, now there's a moment, we were talking a little bit backstage, there's a moment in the movie where you stay at a hotel that's owned by Fred Armisen, and like he gets a little, I don't want to give too much away, but it's a bit of a harrowing experience for the band. And that was based on something real that happened, is that right? Some sort of creep that you guys stayed with?
Yeah, there's a lot of things that sort of echo to our past of little Easter eggs that are basically things that happened to the band that actually happened to us when we were younger. And yeah, that's very real, and it's a very whoa moment.
Yeah, it was very creepy and very horrific what happened.
We got to have a little of that in any Green Day movie, right? The full color of the thing.
Absolutely.
Mason, what was your sort of relationship to Green Day's music growing up?
Well, it started from, I'm the youngest sibling, and I always looked up to my older sister and my brother for their music taste, and they always would listen to Green Day. I remember just in the car, and I mean, this is the reason Boulevard is my favorite song, and I remember her playing it, and I just kind of fell in love from there. And then my first ever concert was you guys at the Palladium, or not the Palladium, it was SoFi. Yeah. And it was a wild experience, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know anything. I met Billy backstage, and it was the calmest person I think I've ever met in my life. And then I see them up on stage, and all of them turned into monsters, and it was insane. I'm like fire and like balloons. It was insane.
Well, you and I share that in common. My first concert was also Green Day in 2005. So yeah, a lot of first-time Green Day concert folks on this stage here. Now, I guess the next question here is, what was the thing about Green Day's music that was the most fun thing to channel through this movie? Like that energy. Yeah. What was the most important thing to capture?
Well, the fun thing is I had the whole catalog to choose from, and Green Day's music, it hits so many different themes. So there's so many different types of music. It's not just angry punk rock. There's love songs, right? There's funny songs. There's the whole gamut. So I was able to choose songs that kind of would fit the point in the story, and kind of put them in there. And most of the songs in the movie I'd kind of cooked into the script already, which was an absolute blast. You don't get that opportunity when you're writing a movie to have all that music to choose from. So it was cool, yeah.
Are there any like deep cuts from your discography that you really wanted to be in the movie, whether or not they were in this sort of initial, like were there any songs that you decided you wanted to add kind of later on?
Well, there's a new song,
Yes.
Never Gonna R.I.P., so yes?
Yeah, right at the end, yeah, to finish it, right? Yep. We were talking a little bit about this. You've got a great trio of actors that are playing this band here. What was the most fun thing about being locked in a car with those guys?
Everything. It was chaos. I mean, the fun thing about it is we had this time before production to really just play together and do rehearsals with Lee. And I think during that time, I got to just live out a fantasy of being in a band. And it was really fun, and we built this chemistry and this dynamic that was just pure chaos. And I think the best way possible, because we would get on set and we'd get in these rooms or car, wherever we were, and they would say action, and it was just, you didn't know what the hell was going to come out of anybody's mouth. And I think Lee and everybody had you could have made an entirely different movie with those
You
things.
never know what's going to come out of our mouths.
It's very true to life, right? Yeah. Well, now, this is the band that Tommy is the lead singer of, is the Analog Dogs. They're very focused on making this stuff not digitally, recording to tape, playing these songs, out of amplifiers, which I don't know how you do that, not analog. That one we haven't figured out yet. But why was it important to have the Analog Dogs be so focused on doing these things practically and physically?
I think that was a big trick that we had to figure out, and Lee just really did a great job of it, was to, I think, like, Analog Dogs and a lot of bands now, young bands really want to do things like use an old 4-track. You see a lot of people using video cameras again, and it's not just about, like, what you put on social media and stuff like that. So it's, it kind of goes to show you, like, word of mouth is still the most important thing about being in a band. And I don't know, Mason, how did you balance it?
I mean, to me, it was, just having all the conversations with Lee and everything, and how important, we really wanted to get this vibe and theme right, I think, for Green Day fans, and also people who are just coming in to enjoy a teen movie. I think there's a lot of themes and tones that I think really belong with it being analog, and I think it was a lot of fun getting to do that and to bring it to life. And it was, it's an experience I'm never gonna forget, working with these guys and Lee, so yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stay true to the spirit of these guys, right? As I said, I have been a fan of the band for a very long time. In fact, when American Idiot came out, I think we have this, I decided to go to my middle school graduation, see if maybe I could get into the band. This is maybe a month after I saw you guys for the first time. Not bad, right? That's not bad.
Had a hot topic in your hometown.
I was keeping them in business in 2005, let me tell you. Well, I show you that to ask you this. American Idiot, incredibly important album to me. Now that you've had a taste of doing a little movie based on your own music, has there been any conversations about turning American Idiot into a movie? Is that something that maybe fans could get excited for one day?
We've talked about it a lot. To try, we've talked to Michael Mayer, the director that did the American Idiot musical. So there's always talks about it, but we just got to figure out when and. But right now it's all about Nimrods.
All about Nimrods, and the movie rocks. If you're a Green Day fan, if you're not a Green Day fan, you gotta see it. You can catch Nimrods in theaters August 14th, but right now there is plenty more Comic-Con coming up. Don't go anywhere.